Well, Sooze, the ToneX 1 has been out for maybe about a week ago. Everything got announced. And a lot of people are talking about it. I think they're about to start shipping any day now.
Okay.
Obviously, it seemed like everyone and their mother who has a YouTube channel got some of these and were aware.
Yeah.
It's maybe one of the worst kept secrets in the gear industry. Because literally everyone I know, you know, had one of these. Not literally, but, you know, figuratively.
Yeah.
A lot of ToneX is out there. A lot of people excited about it. $179, huge value. Yeah. You know, man, look, a lot of people pair these and have paired the pedal with HX Effects, HX Stomp.
Yeah.
I know me personally, for all of the ToneX demos that we've done, if you haven't seen the board on there, I either used some amplitude effects, or you may notice that it says I added some delay and reverb in post, and that's usually Helix native running some. So it's like even in the demos where I was showing the stuff off, I like to add a little delay and verb.
Yeah.
You know, now that it's here, I think the question for a lot of people is, can you think of this for a Helix owner as a $179 upgrade? Like a lot of people are pairing these, but and they were pairing them before the pedal was $400. Now at 179, it feels like for the cost of almost any pedal, not many pedals cheaper than this. That are kind of like
and smaller. I mean, the size of the big one using with a full Helix is a little bit like, oh man, kind of a bummer.
I shouldn't say there's not, but there's a lot of pedals cheaper than this. But there's a lot of pedals that aren't. And in this 150, 175, 200 range, all sorts of pedals, you could easily buy one of these and try it, put it in the loop of your Helix.
Right.
And is that the upgrade a lot of people are looking for?
Yeah. Are you adding capture tech to your Helix for $179?
Does that do it?
Like if they offered it, like if Line 6 said, hey, you can take your normal Helix that you already own and we'll give you capture technology with all these profiles.
Right. We already built it in, but we just wrote the software.
Well, yeah, we'll unlock it for you.
For $179, would you do it?
100%.
See, I would do it 100% too.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of people in the Helix world go, it doesn't need it, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Hey, man, look, I like capture idea. I like that the whole concept of being able to get any amp, of being able to get my amps, kind of being able, I'm a person personally, I know not everyone's like this, but I'm a person that has owned so many amps and mic'd up so many amps. I actually find it, I feel like I'm very familiar with what a mic does and how it moves around. And I feel like I know the sound of the placement on 15s, 10s, blah, blah. So me personally, I know this doesn't apply to everyone, I'm very comfortable in the analog world getting a sound, but I don't necessarily want to bring my rig anywhere.
Yeah.
Because I just have done it a lot. So for me, I go, I'll always take a unit with capture tech over a unit that doesn't have it.
I know, yeah.
And so what do I want in the Helix 2? Well, this is incredibly easy to read.
Yeah.
It's a great package. They have one of the best editors.
Yeah.
You know, maybe someone goes, oh, I like Axe better. Okay.
Yeah.
But the Helix is stable. It works. It's great.
Snapshots are killer.
Yeah. They're all, exactly. Snapshot, preset mode. You can kind of get to it all. Maybe you could say, it'd be great if this was a touch screen on Helix too.
Yeah, sure.
Like a Quad Cortex. You know, maybe you can use this and this.
Yeah.
But if you told me, the new Helix 2 is coming out, they're not going to make this unit, and all it adds is capture tech, and this is what, $1,500 now? $1,499, I think. I think it lowered a little bit. If you told me the new Helix 2 is $1,800, $300 more, but it has capture tech.
Yeah.
I'm in a second.
Totally. And you could keep the modeling and the tone matching, and
I like all the effects.
Yeah, for people that even with amps, like people that like modeling amps, because they feel like they can more move the parameters around and trust like that they're working like the amp would. Then great, leave that in there. I just am with you in the camp of like I think having heard these amps like mic'd up and know that the capture of those amps is just like having the real thing versus a model. I always go for capture. You know, so like, yeah, to use this as an amp block or to use two of them as stereo.
Yeah, and let me just qualify something you said. Because I don't want people to get the wrong idea. Because I feel like we're always making these videos and then people comment stuff and I'm like, that's not what was said or that's not what was said. So I think some people just heard that this capture tech is more accurate than the models in the Helix. So let me like just clarify.
Yeah.
This, when I capture a pedal on my Deluxe on this, with my 121, my 545, through my 2Vs or my APIs or my Heritage Audio Neve clone, like whatever I'm running over there, right? through my JDK 12 and I just kiss the top. I do exactly what I like.
Yeah.
What I found works. That's way more accurate to my rig than this model. I can't speak to the accuracy of this model to whatever the source amp was.
Sure, yeah.
And I never really have tried to. I mean, there's some things in here that I've noticed about the Helix that are ultra. Sometimes I run into something where I might go, does the amp really quite do that? But then there's some other stuff like the interaction in the gain and the and the tone of the Deluxe.
Yeah.
How one pot going up robs the other pot of signal. That is, then I'm like, wow, they really.
Yeah, they studied it, and
that was a real specimen of an amp that they looked at what was happening, and I don't know, building it in the digital world. I think we're gonna get two types of response to this, but we're gonna hear the clips.
Yeah, I'm interested to just see how it sounds.
Yeah.
So just swapping back and forth between amps that are in here and then adding an outside amp.
Yeah. And we're not gonna comment on it. Please tell us if you think it's worth it. Are you gonna spend $179 to sort of upgrade your Helix?
Right.
It's $179. It's not much.
I know.
Are you going to have you experimented with running one of these in the loop? A lot of people have been doing the big box ToneX and a Stomp or a Stomp XL or an Effects.
Yeah.
But for the people who are Helix owners, are you going to experiment with basically adding Capture Tech for $179? And do you think do you want Capture Tech? Is there any advantage? I mean, to me, it's a great addition.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Not saying you couldn't make this sound good before. I think we've made this sound good in lots and lots of videos and lots of times.
I mean, in the spirit of like, don't hear what we're not saying, there's a lot of upsides to using the amps and cabs in here. One of which would be a snapshot. Constantly moving the amp around.
Yeah, you won't have that control.
Hard to do with this thing.
Yes, you'd be more locked into. This would have to be your switcher, for maybe a dirty and a clean,
a couple sounds,
or you'd be just stuck with that's my one amp sound and I have to use drives to push it.
Yeah,
if you put this in the loop.
Totally.
So how are we going to set up this test? You're going to do the test, and
I think it's grab an amp and a tone match block in the Helix, record that, and then defeat those and use the ToneX 1 in the same spot. Yeah.
Okay. That's going to be cool.
And we don't even really know how it's going to sound because we haven't recorded it.
No, we haven't
even
done. We're not even going to comment after this.
Yeah.
So let's do. How about? And that way, you know what? That's fine. We'll do one of our tone match patches that we have tone matched to the rig, and we'll do this. And that way, if people beat it up, they'll say, "Oh, well, your tone match stuff just sucks."
Okay.
Right. That way, I'll tell you.
Fair enough.
How about? Yeah. And then we'll see what we think sounds better. What do you think's going to happen?
I think I'm going to prefer the sound of the ToneX in the loop spot. But I think if I wanted to go ahead and start changing the amp or tweaking it or massaging it, I may end up liking using like the twin, model in here. Just because in here, it's like, well, okay, where did you profile it? How many times? Where was the EQ at? That kind of stuff. So
you're going to have some less control.
Yeah.
You'll have some control.
Yeah.
But not all the control.
Yeah. And I would say that's probably a simplified way of saying the pros and cons between modeling and capture is modeling. You move around the parameters on the amp and it's like they've said under our research and our development, like this is how that amp functions. Not so with this is just generic bass middle treble, But I would say if you don't touch it and you just pull up what we captured in here, that is the sound of that rig. And we can't trust the model to be the sound of our rig.
Right. It's the sound of some other rig.
Those are the pros and cons.
Yeah. I like that. All right. You be the judge. I'm HW.
I've been Sooze.